Hello, DM Geezer Jim here. We are almost completely done with the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. I've been reading my copy off of D&D Beyond, word for word, page for page, with a little bit of commentary. We have three last little sections here: Appendix A, Lore Glossary; Appendix B, Maps; and Appendix C, I forgot, Tracking Sheets. I don't necessarily know there's a ton to read here. So we'll just spend probably about 10 or 15 minutes kind of looking at it. And I would recommend that you keep these references around ready to go. We'll start with Appendix C because this is nice and easy. There's been a lot of discussion about the tracking sheets. Most of the more veteran DMs, people that have their own ways of tracking this information, their own systems, have griped about all of these. The layout, it doesn't matter. The main thing that I want you to keep track of is these are visual guidelines for each dungeon master to design their own way to track this information. Even if you don't like the format, this is important stuff to keep track of. The ideas that are listed on each of these tracking sheets are very important. So even if you don't like the layout of each of the sheets, I think it's important to at least look at them and come up with your own method of tracking. I tend to use just Google Docs or spreadsheets. Everything is built into cells. Everything's built into tables when I run them, when I use them. But these are excellent tools for a brand new DM, which, let's be honest, the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide has very much been targeted at the day one Dungeon Master. A lot of the old folk have been, there's nothing new in that book. I've been playing for 35 years. I would hope you know how to do your job by now. It's okay. There doesn't have to be something in the new book for everybody. This is an excellent product for your day 1, day 3, day 5 DM. And contrary to what us old people might say, there's some good information for us in here as well. A very clarified book, a very well written book. And these trackers, even if you don't like how they're written, even if you don't like the layout, you cannot argue that there's some good information contained within these the tracking sheets. So your mileage may vary in regards to actually using these directly, but the information contained on them, the ideas that each of these sheets is tracking, is something that you will find yourself tracking over the courses of your campaign. So whether you choose to use the ones included or make your own, at least don't be afraid to look at them as references. So we're going to go ahead and go to from Appendix C. We're going backwards to Appendix B, Maps. Just a huge collection of mid to high quality maps, different varying styles of maps that refer to locations within the Dungeon Master's Guide, including the sample adventures that we looked at way back in the start of the series. So these are here for you to use. These are generic maps for the most part. Obviously, the Free City of Greyhawk and the Lands of Greyhawk notwithstanding. You've got a dungeon hideout map. You've got a farmstead. You've got a bunch of maps ready to go right out the book. And if you're using the D&D Beyond, you can pull these suckers out in PNG, JPEG, drop them straight into your virtual tabletops, and you're good to go. If you're playing Theater of Mind, you can describe based on what's here, etc., etc. You have these maps are very useful. Whether they're examples on how to build a structure or you use them exactly as is. The map collection is really pretty good. Very basic, nothing super hardcore, nothing like, oh my god, that's the coolest map I've ever seen. But everything is absolutely useful and it's suitable for what you're trying to do with it, right? The Underdark Warren, the Volcanic Caves, and the Wizard's Tower. Each of these on their own, they're sitting here ready for you to use. Pull into your adventures. If you need something out, oh shit, we're going near a tower that I didn't plan. You've got a wizard tower map. It doesn't necessarily have to belong to a wizard. It can be just a tower. So the maps that are contained within these are just example/sample maps. But nothing's going to stop you from using them if you want. Obviously, we're going to pay attention to the scale. A dragon's lair should be pretty big, right? A crossroads village. This is a scale of 1 square equals 25 feet in this case, so you have a larger village, etc., etc. Cool? Appendix B, loaded down with maps ready for you to download, snip, copy, paste, however you want to do to use for your campaigns or adventures. The next appendix, Appendix A, is a little bit lengthy. I like the lore glossary. You can learn a lot about the lore of D&D over the course of the past 50 years by just spending some time within this. I debated reading through each of these entries and discussing each of them, but that would be about another 60 freaking videos. A lot of lore, a lot of history contained within these guys. A couple of them, for example, Illustrial Silverhand. Illustrial Silverhand is the second of the 7 daughters of Mystra, a deity of magic in the Forgotten Realms. Laeral Silverhand is Illustrial's younger sister. She ruled the city of Silvery Moon for centuries, but stepped down from that position a little over a century ago to promote goodness and compassion in the multiverse. She has befriended adventurers such as Drizzt Urden and works alongside the Harpers in pursuit of these aims. So this is a collection of people and places and a couple things that are pretty popular in D&D. I guess you could say D&D pop culture, D&D icons, if you will. And this is giving you, the Dungeon Master, the opportunity to see what the lore implications of each of these people or locations or whatever are, and choose to, and it gives you the decision to include them in your campaigns or build campaigns around them, or say that doesn't fit my world, that doesn't fit my idea, that doesn't exist. So a lot of fun stuff in this list. If we had the time, if I thought I could do this without going down 55 rabbit holes for each of these non-player characters, I would do it. I'm not going to do that right now. Honestly, a lot of these characters have been talked about in a bunch of my other older videos when I first started putting together module reviews and book reviews. Tharizdun, Tasha, the greatness of Igwilv, etc., etc. See also Igwilv, because that's where it really matters, right? What's up, girl? The baddest chick in all of D&D, and I'll fight you on that one. But anyway, my apologies on that little bit of a tirade. So that's your appendices. They are going to be useful. Definitely spend some time in the lore glossary when you get your copy of the book. I might come back around in later in life and go through the lore glossary and try to do something about each of the entries here, as well as reflecting the original source material. Very thick to do that, but a lot of useful information here. So Appendix A, Lore Glossary, all of the names that fly around in the multiverse. This is your intro to these people, these places, these things. Wet your whistle a little bit. I'm not going to say it's going to educate you, but it's going to inform you on who is a Sesserac when people are talking about him. A Sererac. Excuse me. Adamantine, Illustrial Silverhand, a Shalderon, Baba Yaga, Bahamut, Baldur's Gate, blah, blah, blah. All of these things most of you guys have seen or heard about in D&D already. This is just codifying them into the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. Appendix B, maps. As we said, maps here for you to use. Nothing more, nothing less. Sample maps. How maps look of a Crossroads village. Pull this map out and use it. And lastly, the tracking sheets. Visualizations of the terms and the concepts that me and you as Dungeon Masters have to keep track of over the course of an adventure and a campaign. Even if you don't like the layout of these tracking sheets, no one's going to blame me on that. But the ideas that you are tracking are paramount. Everything that's listed here is something that we have to keep track of. So if you don't have a method, the tracking sheets are great. If you have your own method, cool. But don't lose sight of these things. As long as you're tracking all of these things in your campaign, you're going to have a good, strong campaign. You're going to have a good foundation for your world building as well. Alrighty, that's it, man. Woo! 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. Yes, I did cheat out a little bit on reading through the glossary, but again, that would have led to a rabbit hole of so many more lore digs and so many more PDFs. And, well, technically a Sererac showed up in S1, Tomb of Horrors, and then reappeared in the Return of Tomb. There's so much lore involved in a lot of those guys. Those are videos on their own, and we may get to them. But, hey, ultimately, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience. Hopefully you've enjoyed this 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide read-through. This is the last official video in the series. I may do some appendixes on the appendixes. We'll see. But likes, follows, subscribes are appreciated. Above all else, please, 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 take the time to absorb the information. Whether you read it yourself or whether you listen to an audiobook, the words are on the page. Once you absorb the information that's on the page, it's yours. It's yours to the concept of information synthesis. When you know what you're thinking about, when you know what you're talking about, you can build from it. This is going to sound very hypocritical. Don't listen to talking heads like me tell you what you need to know about the book if you yourself can access the book, okay? I've shared a lot of opinions. I've shared a lot of thoughts in regards to the implementation of these ideas. And how to apply these concepts, because I've been running D&D for about 40 years. I started in 1983. So, a lot of this is based in my experience, but my experience is not your experience. My table is not your table. What works for me and works for my games may not work for you and your games, because we all know there's a multitude of ways to play Dungeons and Dragons. So above all else, I want to encourage you to please stay within the manuals. Learn about the information in the books, however you need to do that, so you can make it yours. And once it's yours, you're able to peel away the things that you don't need. You're able to expand upon the things that you do like. You're able to ignore the things that your party might not care about. But until you know it's there, you're not necessarily complete. So I understand the concept of reading and reading comprehension can be argued about all day. But there are multiple ways to absorb the word as written. RTFM, read the frickin' manual. I say that a lot on my stream because I'm a firm believer. I want you to own the information. I don't want you to have to come to me for the information. I don't want you to have to go to some other talking head on YouTube or Twitch to tell you what's in this book when you can do it yourself. Because a lot of times we're not telling you word for word, or we're telling you how we use it. So even though I did that, I tried to preface everything with the words on the page. So please, 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 own the information, own the rules for yourself. And I'm not saying buying the book. I'm saying taking the information, make notes, take what's important, and build out your own way of retaining and synthesizing the information for your tables. But that's really it, guys. Thank you so much. As always, we'll continue. I'm probably going to do another audiobook, a more fun one, something fun for me. Y'all may not like it. I kind of don't care. Well, I do care, but I don't care. I need to do a different book to have some fun. But yeah, likes, follows, subscribes are appreciated. Thank you so much. If you know some people that might enjoy this series, share it with them. If you know, if you have a group of DMs and you've enjoyed what I've done, let them know, man. Because the more support I get, the more of these kind of things that I'll continue doing. Join us over on Twitch for live chats, and as always, I'd love to hear some feedback. I cannot improve without feedback. I know I'm not infallible. I'm still new to this content creator thing, so the more feedback I get, the better hopefully the better I can do. But above all else, enjoy your game. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sitting with me through this long ass book, man. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.